Hi, how are you doing today? This is my better late than never video of my Valentine journal. We're going to do a flip through, a final flip through before I sew in the pages. And then I'll go back and trim up the pages, and I will show you how I sew in my signatures. This is a 2-inch spine, so it's going to have 4 signatures. And so what I'm doing now with you is we're flipping through it, seeing if we're happy where the pages are placed and the alignment. And then what I'll do is go back and make sure all the pages are trimmed the way I want them to be. And we'll go over sewing in signatures also. Okay, so let's get started. This, when it's done, is going to be, my goal is for it to be the most interactive journal that I've done so far. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open it, and we're gonna look at the first signature that's not sewn in. We're gonna flip our little guy up there. And this was tricky because I am going to have to line this up precisely and not make any mistakes when I sew in the signatures, because we want his head to line up with his clothes. So what I've done is each signature has like the first or second page that matches the heads, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, because I didn't want it to be too far in the journal, which might make it not line up. Okay, I hope I explained that right, but you'll see as we go along. Okay, so this is our first signature, and we're just looking through and making sure we like how the pages look, and see if everything's placed the way we want it to be. This right here was a napkin that I ironed onto freezer paper, and I like how it came out. I just love those 2 little kits. Okay, so we're doing our little flip through and seeing if we like how everything's placed in here. This is a bag, and on the flip side is the opening to the other end of the bag. This was a gift bag that they had at Hobby Lobby, and I cut it and turned it into a pocket. I thought, how cute is that? They are too cute. And then sometimes what I'll do is make little notes so I remember where I want to place things and how I want to embellish the pages. So here I put pop-up heart between these 2 pages. And this I was inspired by someone on Instagram who, I'll try to list her below, who showed how to make this. And I love it. This I just embellished the edges with hearts. This is a recipe for a Valentine cookie. This again was a napkin that I placed on freezer paper and turned it into a thicker page and put a little heart up there. Okay, this, so I wrote a little note to myself. This is where the pop-up card's gonna go. I didn't care for this cover, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the signature in, and then I'm going to put this as the middle of the signature. And this will need to be trimmed. I'm gonna work on trimming that today. And yeah, I just thought that was a cool pop-up card, and to put it in the middle of this pop-up book that's going to be full of interactive stuff. And I have a lot of pages that are blank, but I'm not letting that bother me because I have all kinds of stuff that I'm going to put on these pages. All kinds. So they will be embellished like crazy. I mean, all kinds of fun stuff. This I'm gonna turn into a pocket and take some ribbon in between here. This is a card, and it's going to be a shaker, so that will be attached to a page. Just showing you all my interactive stuff. This I love is a mailbox, and it opens, it's Velcro. And how neat is that? So this is going to be full. I'm excited because I'm going to have so many interactive things. And I just discovered this morning, I had this material and everybody pretty much voted that they loved this material, and I couldn't find it. Well, guess what? It was found, and I have made a pocket out of that material with this die. I have never tried cutting material with a die, and it worked. So that's going to go on a pocket somewhere. I'll show you when we get to the page I'm going to put it on. It had writing on the back of the page, and I want to cover that up. So who knew, and maybe you did know, I didn't know, that I could cut material with a die cut. So I'm excited about that. It's opened a whole another can of worms. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to embrace all my blank pages because I can embellish like crazy, and I have a lot of vintage Valentine's cards that I'm going to put in here also. Okay, let's make sure it's all... Is this still our first signature? Yes, we're still on the first signature. It's jam-packed. And that's the other side of that napkin and the other book page. Okay, so that's the first signature. Moving on to the next signature. I'm going to set that aside. And again, I'm making sure that my pages line up with my pop-up paper dolls. Okay, and then this shows how to make Valentines. It's from a vintage book. Again, a napkin that I put on freezer paper. This is an envelope, and I loved how it was already lined with hearts on the inside. And this is other things that you can make for Valentine's Day. This here, I'm actually going to make one of these. I did already, but I'm going to make a smaller one to go in here. So it's directions on how to make this heart and how you weave the paper together. So I'm going to do a smaller one like this, and that will go in there. Here's what I was talking about, how sometimes you have paper, like this is paper from Hobby Lobby Paper Studios, and on the back of the paper we'll have something printed on and the price. Well, this is where I'm going to use this material pocket. So anyhow, I'll just leave that there to remind myself. And then what I could do is put a smaller version of this in that pocket. Okay. More ideas what to make on Valentine's Day. This is another place that I'll put a pocket or cover it with something cute. Maybe a bigger heart or, well, there's all kinds of things. So instead of getting nervous if you have blank pages, be happy, because that means you can embellish and have more fun with it. I like how this page came out. And this is a Norman Rockwell print, and he's giving her a Valentine. I think this is going to be a fun page when it's completed. More blank pages, but I'm loving it because they're going to have all kinds of decorations on them and interactive stuff. Okay, and so that's the flip side of that envelope. There we go. That page was tore, but I think I'm going to put some tape that looks vintage on it. I think that will be neat. Goes with these pages here. I love this. This is a punch, and I love how it came out. So I did tons of pages like that. Okay, that's the end of our second signature. Here's our third signature. It has pockets on the front. I love her outfit. Look how cute that's going to look. And so I tried to incorporate some yellows into here. And this, I'll decorate the back of it with some type of paper. And I go ahead and try to do as many of the trims as I can before I stitch in the signatures. Another bag that's open on the other side so we can fill the pockets with all kinds of fun stuff. This is going to be a bag, and it's going to cover that spot on that page. And yep, there's a recipe in there. And I love how that has little hearts on the cup, but I just thought it really goes good with this page. So I'll glue that in after my signatures are in. This is a book page that I found, and she's making a Valentine. I thought, how cute is that going to be in the middle of that signature? So that's fun. And I thought what I'll do is when I stitch in the signature, have little hearts dangling on the thread that I use, the wax thread. Okay. These will just be covered with fun stuff. I went ahead and trimmed this whole page with some fancy scissors, and I like how the edges came out. Another Norman Rockwell that I love. How cute is that? And here's a coloring book page where the little girl has hearts on the bottom of her dress. So, okay, that was the third signature. Moving on to the fourth signature. This is talking about, it's a book page, and they're planning a Valentine party. And it gives you ideas about planning your Valentine party, and more info on the back. This is a fun page. Oh, need to trim some thread there. And I love the little girl's dress there. Something about this material that I got from Flossy May, I just liked it in here, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna throw that in. I don't know why, it just looked neat, and maybe I'll attach hearts or something to it. These two people are playing cards, and it looks like she's dressed for Valentine's Day, so I thought that was fun. This is a napkin that's very unique. I love the edges. And I didn't put this on freezer paper, I just put it in there. Okay. Another book page of a couple walking in the woods, and I like the colors that they have on, but it goes good with the book. This is some trim that I believe I got from Dollar Tree. And so I'll put something cute underneath there. We'll figure that out. I don't know. Maybe, I think that's too much for there. But anyhow, we'll go through and figure out stuff like that as we're going along. Alrighty. This is a dictionary page, and it gives the definition of a heart, and I thought that was neat. This is crafts that you can make for Valentine's Day. I included that. Another recipe. There we go. And this is going to be the center of this signature, and I liked how it says "Be My Valentine" with the heart doily behind it, and these on the edges. Like I said, better late than never. I've just had crazy things come up lately and can't get my journal done, but it's gonna be done. Okay. And I think we're getting to the last page. Oh, not the last page yet. Anyhow. Okay, so these are all the signatures. I'm going to go through and make sure all my pages are cut down to the size of the book. And what I've done here is I'm going to show you how I go about figuring out how to put my signatures in. So our spine, we'll put these heads down because I don't want anything to happen to them. Our spine's 2 inches wide. So what I did, and 8 inches tall. So what I've done is I wrote down directions, which you can pause this video and take a picture of this. Also, I'm going to put the directions at the bottom underneath the video, and you could look at them in case you need to refer back, in case you've never sewn in signatures before, because I've had several people ask me how I do it. So here's what I'm gonna show. Well, we'll go through this. So like I said, I cut the graph paper 2 inches wide and 8 inches tall. And then I write on the top, and we know 4 signatures are going to go in this. So what I try to do is I try to even it out. So I counted my squares, 1, 2, 3, I believe. I came 5 squares down from the top and 5 squares up from the bottom. And then I know this is 10 squares across. So what I did is a dot at every 2 squares in the middle. And so that is gonna line up my signatures. Okay? And so I have the dots there. And then I saw that there was 30 squares between here and here. So what I did is took that in half, which gives me 15, and I counted 15 squares down and put those dots down the same thing. So I always use a graph paper, and I match the dots up. So I'm trying to make this look as even as possible on the spine. So what I'll do is I'll go through and use my awl and punch these holes on the spine, and I'll do the same thing in the center of all my signatures. I hope that makes sense, and like I said, I'll have the directions written below. But I always grab a graph paper and cut it the same size of the spine and try to make my holes evenly. So I think that will work out perfectly. And I was really concerned about making it perfect because sometimes I just, fly by the seat of my pants, but I was very concerned about making it perfectly. So my pages are going to line up. The clothes that go with these pop-up dolls are going to line up with the heads. Okay, I hope that made sense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause this, trim my pages, and then I'm going to come back and show you me stitching in one of the signatures and how I clip the pages back and everything. Okay, I hope this is gonna be helpful to you. All right, I'll be back. Okay, here's a funny sight. I forgot to tell you is I put washi tape to keep it in place. Well, none of my washi tape wanted to stick, so I kept adding more and more. But anyhow, I put the washi tape to hold it into place, and I use my awl to poke the holes through. And this way they all stay lined up. And so on the flip side, you can't really see my holes, but they're there. So they're down here and up here, and the ones in the middle are right along that border there. But anyhow, I go ahead and put the washi to hold it into place, get some good washi, and then poke my holes. So then what I do is I take it off, and then I'm going to line it up with my signatures. Okay, that'll be our next step. Next, what I do is go through each signature and paper clip my signatures together so that it's in there tight. So I've gone through and paper clipped them all, and so that they're even on the top and the bottom too. Okay, so they're all paper clipped together. And now this is the reason we put top on here, is so I know which one's the top. And now we're going to place our holes in the signature and line them up with how we had them on the book. So that's another thing that could be put into place, or just you could just hold it. And so what I'm going to do is go to the end of this line. I hope you could see what I'm doing. I'm going to go to the end of this line and poke a hole there, here, and here. Okay, and you can also washi tape that into place, but I'm gonna try without doing that. We'll see what happens here. And so that's why I do the top, and I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole through there. And I bend it like this and just try to make sure I see it coming through. I don't know if you can with all the print coming through right where the seam is. Okay? I know I say okay a lot. Okay, so there we go again. I said it again. So now I'm going to do the next one. Same thing, and try to just push it straight through so it comes through the seam. That one's there. And you know, it might be good to washi tape that in, so the first time you're doing it, to keep it in place, unlike what I did. Or even use your paper clip that's there too. I'm just gonna make sure I got it lined up exactly. Okay, there's that okay again. I have to stop that habit. Anyway, okay. Oh, it's embedded in me. Okay, I gotta stop it. We're not even gonna count how many times I've said that. So I'm poking the third hole in. So you're gonna do that with each one of your signatures, and then I'll show you how to thread it. So I use wax thread. All the signatures have their 3 holes poked in them. And I use a good size needle. And as a rule of thumb, I take the wax thread and go 3 times the height of the book. So there and there. And we're going to do that 4 times because we have 4 signatures. So now that I measured the first one, I'm going to do that and cut them all. And I like the wax thread because it's easy to work with. you make a mistake and you need to pull the thread out, it's easy to untie and great to work with. Okay. There, I said that again. Oh my goodness. This is a good size needle, and I believe I ordered this thread and needle. It was a bookmaking kit from Amazon. I guess I could have stopped the camera so you don't have to see me trying to thread. And I leave about 6-inch tail on there. Okay. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe how many times I said that. Maybe I'll just say right. I always go through the middle hole. I don't know why. That's just how I learned to do it. And I start in the back of the book. So I'm taking the needle through there. The middle of the signature, and now the middle of the book, and we're in the back. And as a rule of thumb, I always just check to make sure my pages are all facing the way they should be, like facing up. Don't want to put a whole signature in upside down. I think that might have happened to me once, but that was okay because I had the wax thread. So I'm pulling it through the middle, and then I go to the bottom. Can you see this? Yes, I think I'm on the screen. And I straighten, you just pull that tail and straighten it out. And now I'm going through here. And that's why you want to make sure your pages are tight. And sometimes if I can't get it through the hole, I'll go back through the other way and just try to make the hole a little bigger. Because for some reason that one wasn't wanting to go that way. So that's just a little trick. I take it back through and make it a little bigger. And now you go straight through. Make sure it's there. It is. Sometimes you want to have, like I have rubber thimbles, but do I have them on me right now? I don't think I do. Sometimes those are helpful. Okay, so what we've done is we went through the middle of the signature, through the middle of the book, came out, went through the bottom, came through the bottom, and now we're going back through the middle. And a little trick is I try to pull the thread down so I'm not going in between the thread, if that makes sense. I pull it tight so I'm not catching the thread that's already in there. Because sometimes it could split the thread that's in there and it makes it a little bit difficult to tighten it at the end. So we've gone back through the middle. And now back through the middle of the book. It will all make sense once you see the finished look. And maybe you're not new at this and you think I'm doing it a crazy way. But anyhow, this works for me. And hopefully it will work for you in the future. I tighten the thread on both ends. Okay, so we've gone back through the middle. So now we're going to the top of the book. And we're going through that hole at the top of the book. Through the top of the book, now the top of the signature. And this is where I tighten it. So we're looking to see how tight it is here, and it needs to be tightened. So I pull on all the threads. There we go. Pull on it, and then we're looping it through here. And then tying it pretty tight. And usually I do a couple knots. Okay, we have one signature in, and that's how it looks on the outside. Nice and straight, looks good. All right, all the signatures are sewn in, and I think it came out great. And the book's already chunky, and it hasn't even been embellished. And the true test to see how his head lines up with his clothes. Looks pretty good. Okay, my next video will be sooner than this last one, and we will further embellish this journal. All right, I hope that was helpful for anybody that's just learning to sew in their signatures. Have a great day, and please like and subscribe to my channel.